Hello, welcome to my Star Power Alchemy YouTube channel. My name is Alejandra Sofia and I am a Soul Level Astrologer. I'm trained through a special astrology that not a lot of people are trained in, and it's through the teachings of master astrologer Elias Lonsdale. He's written several books and he named and deemed his astrology Star Genesis. And I'm here today on November 6, 2018 at 1:58 p.m. Pacific time, tuning into the energies, the metaphysical, alchemical energies, evolutionary energies from this point. And today is a very powerful day. We have a very big week. There's several things that make several astrological aspects of this week that are making it truly a very powerful week. And I'm speaking from the before the new moon and before the Jupiter in Sagittarius. And as we all know, today is midterm elections, and results are not in yet. And so what I want to speak to from right now and today, and what's making like this buildup of energy before the Scorpio New Moon, and the Scorpio New Moon is tomorrow at 8:02 a.m. Pacific time, November the 7th, and that there's several points that make it a very significant week. Jupiter is at the final degree of Scorpio. Uranus today has moved back into the sign of Aries, retrograding back from Taurus into Aries, and is at the 30 degrees of Aries. Today, the North Node has moved back from the sign of Leo into the sign of Cancer, 30 degrees Cancer. So we have Jupiter and Uranus and the North Node all at the 30th degree frequency of that sign. Jupiter and Uranus form a quincunx, an exact quincunx, which is a 150 degree angle tomorrow, but is inside of it right now. And then on the new moon tomorrow morning, and finally, Jupiter moves into the sign of Sagittarius after being in Scorpio for a full year. So this new moon energy that's coming in will be imprinting through Jupiter and Scorpio, and not quite yet Sag. So this new moon lunar cycle wave that we're upon right now, that are really like, it's like right now we're inside of this wave. It's like pulling us in before the release into you feel that? The release into the new moon energy. And so, and being that it's a scorpionic new moon, it will have the energies of Jupiter. It's catching the last energies of Jupiter in Scorpio before it moves into the sign of Sagittarius. So this whole month, the whole next 28 days, we'll be working with the energies we'll still be working with the energies of Jupiter and Scorpio very strongly before our new moon in Sagittarius in December. So what I want to say from right now, in this point that we're in on November 6, 2018, with all these fresh energies, specifically have to do with the North Node. What's fresh? The North Node has just moved into Cancer. Cancer, the sign of Cancer, which is, to name the elements, Cancer is a water sign, but it has undertones of earth. And so now the North Node, which is the dragon's head, which is the direction, it's the direction of moving forward. It's the direction of progress that we're being called towards, and how that's activating us uniquely in our own birth charts. It's definitely comes down into the personal. So it is each affecting us all very personally on unique levels. And then there is the bigger macro level of general, just the general energy. And so there's going to be a real focus on coming together in groups and coming together in groups. And on a positive level, just the necessity for coming together in groups. And this is furthered by Ceres, which has a rulership of Cancer, of healing the family. It's really about healing the family, healing the soul family, healing the some very essential issues that have to do with our emotions and coming out into these groups. So Uranus is forming, but it's specifically coming out in a new, fresh way of bringing your authentic self. Like this is, I want to speak from like an evolutionary aspect of with Jupiter and Uranus. I'm looking at my chart right now of the energies with Jupiter and Uranus forming a quincunx. There's a real breakthrough and breakout energy, and then the North Node's like leading the way. Like this is the way it has to go. Like breaking out of these dark places of mysterious corners of our own personal selves, and where we've been holding down our magic, holding down through fear, holding down through patterns of self-negation, and yes, the trauma that got us there, and also the misidentification with trauma that our little self got caught in. And so there's a real, like, it's time to break out and open into this freer zone of self-expression, and that's being activated by Uranus at the 30th degree of Aries, because Aries is a real out breath coming out in, and then Scorpio is a real in breath, you know, deep inner terrain. And there's been of course we're up against major karmic factors of clearing these karmas, but it's really being played out in, I mean, there's all these different concentric circle layers of how that's being played out, you know, on, you know, self, and then, you know, intimate relationships, and then, you know, family, and it's not even, and then it's all a very dynamic weaving, right? And so on a very self level, it's time to come out. And we each one of us in our own free will zone need to hear the inner calling, hear what directions we need to go in for ourselves. And so there is going to be a lot more. There's a breakthrough in creative levels of people. I feel many people just kind of getting these powerful ahas of like how to, you know, overcome the negativity, how to work with yourself on a daily level, and truly blast through the negation, and getting yourself out of clearing the airwaves, clearing the water waves, clearing these energetic places where we get trapped inside of our own, really the self-negation. So that's where it's this level of like a possibility of like really speaking truth to yourself, really getting into some clear, powerful clarity that's allowing for breakthrough and clear ways forward. But the clear way forward isn't linear. It's like this breakthrough with the quincunx. The evolutionary aspect of the quincunx is the evolutionary aspect of the quincunx is breaking free of previous patterns. And so there's not necessarily, there's an energy of this with the quincunx that it's like you're creating a whole new, it's like the door materializing before your eyes, but where before it was like that wasn't there before. Well, yeah, because that was inside of a previous pattern, and then suddenly the idea comes, and that's the way forward. It's through these new ideas that are coming through, and so it's really following those leads. And with the North Node, it's following those leads, those internal nudges inside of ourselves, each one of us, and creating those pathways, because that is it's the pathway of the soul. It's the pathway of your spirit. It's not necessarily out there created in the structures of the world that have been founded and embodied in that. So in this time of new earth changes and activations and realizations of what wants to happen next, well, it's going to come through each one of us. It's going to come through in our own unique way, to come into our original medicine, to come into our inner mission, and to listen, to come into our mission, to listen to the inner directive. So these channels we've been on, you know, at least the ones of us, I'll say it that way, that the tribe that's like really working on themselves and blasting away the false imprints, you know, that this is a real time of renewal and regeneration, and no matter what happens, you know, in terms of what I feel like the election results will bring, I feel like either way, it's about bringing a real new wave coming in of this on a human mission level, bringing the in the initiative of humans, like the greater human mission of really, you know, bringing in change on planet Earth through a deep self-embodiment of yourself. And that's where it's all unique for you. It really is unique for you, but it is inside the blueprint. So you know, we all share the same themes, but we all have our own unique needs that are going to make us thrive. And there is a collective mission. There is a collective mission towards thriving, and it's opening up. It absolutely, like it is very much a part of our blueprint that if one of us isn't thriving, then none of us is thriving. Truly, you know, but then there is this personal part of our blueprint is also to, you know, really look at ourselves personally, but then there's a part of our blueprint to look at ourselves interrelationally, and the part of our blueprint to look into our, you know, just the bigger collective picture. So there's all these layers to our blueprint. And so what all that has to do with now is, and these new moon energies and this quincunx that's forming and this north node in Cancer, is that it's become safer for you to be you, because you are safer with yourself. Home is coming in, home right here. It's less of a fearful place now. It's less of a competitive world, especially if you're a person who is tuning your channels into a higher vibration, into a higher frequency, so that you can really ground through a beautiful rainbow bridge of your chakras, your energy centers harmonizing and synchronizing with universal energies that are uniquely flowing through you. And so this time of new levels of the rainbow bridge, so that's the rainbow bridge, is really beginning to amplify right now for those of us who are really working on those levels. This is, you know, hugely general, but it's very specific as well to what's generally happening. Is there is an amplification. The bridges are getting stronger, and there is the inner bridges, the inner staffs of life, to really help to bring the next level of advancement through, that is what this new moon energy is holding, is advancement. I mean, all new moons do hold that advancement. That's what we are doing. We are inside of an unfolding, and this astrological lens of watching the unfolding is watching the progression, watching the advancement of this greater story, of this great earth mission and story that's unfolding through us as humans, and our blueprint and our design. But it is for each one of us to individuate. And so that is a key aspect to this new moon chart that's forming, that is in the swelling right now and coming in for a landing onto the shores of evolution tomorrow morning at 8:02 a.m. again, 8:02 a.m. on November the 7th, 2018. And that we will be working with all month, in terms of digging down deep to bring these next levels, to bring these deep hidden treasures through. So Scorpio, 16 degrees Scorpio, that's going to be working with the energy, holding, imprinting through the Jupiter. The new moon chart is again resonating through the Jupiter in the final degree of Scorpio in a quincunx to Uranus with the north node in Cancer. And so there's, you know, Jupiter being very key here, because it's like this gathering force of really kind of going down deep into these pockets of self-negation, and really getting to get these super psycho-splunking inner floodlights up on these zones where you've been holding yourself down. And Jupiter's there, like shining the light on it, like, and having to stretch oneself deeply into this inner zone. That's what that feels like. And then Uranus in a quincunx, basically saying, you know, stretch it out and break through. It's a whole new, like, it's overthrowing the old rules. It's overthrowing the old patterns. It's a total overthrow. That's what this energy feels like, just overthrowing. and sharing, you know, Jupiter, and Jupiter wants to share, Jupiter wants to join, Jupiter wants to link in, and Uranus wants to really bring in this higher wizard, high magic, and align into a high channel of intuition and expression and individuality. And so some final remarks on the new moon in Scorpio is, again, it's about the inner, Scorpio is about the inner treasures, these deep hidden inner treasures that are alchemical and transformative, that what you have to offer in these deep caverns of yourself is your magic, is your power. So what I'm seeing and forecasting is these deep in the chambers of Scorpio, these deep in the transforming transforming these aspects that have been held in, that's what it feels like, it's a knot that's been held in negation, and undoing them and unraveling, and it's this coming forth, because there's an overflow that wants to happen in Scorpio. Scorpio wants to overflow with life force. And also this level of evolution and attainment of, like, I don't have to go through these, I don't have to be lower vibration version of myself. I can be in a high resonance field with myself and my heart and in my integralness. And so there's a real owning and honing into oneself that's possible right now. And it's swelling because love wants to manifest. Love wants to overflow. And whatever that is, so your own thriving garden of selfhood and the beautiful pieces that you need to give yourself to in daily and, you know, minute by minute of what it is to be you and what it is to fulfill you. These are the deep nuggets of the Scorpio new moon, in which having these very powerful ahas with yourself and a joining with yourself, a joining of your own. It's like a soul reunion, soul with spirit. Uniting, and it is alchemical. It's a marriage. It's a beautiful marriage, and what that marrying brings to the earth and to your life, you know. And so and then consequently, what because it works both ways. It's a healing of the self, and how self wants to truly serve and be a part of this earth, and the causes and the places that are propelling self to serve, but in a magical way, in a beautiful way, in a real, like this is what makes me thrive. So self-care is absolutely an initiative, and having that deeper sense of, like, this is what I need. I fundamentally need this. Like, I can't compromise this anymore. So that's an important thing for the new moon in Scorpio as well. The places that can't be compromised anymore. It's done. It has to end. That's the old world of the old patterns of living through the imprints and separating ourselves from our, you know, these patterns that are not really being connected to yourself. And so I see and feel a possibility, a very strong possibility of many, many people getting these powerful ahas that connect you to you and being in connection with yourself, because that is what everyone's after. Everyone's after connection. Everyone's after joy. Everyone's after fulfillment one way or another. You know, I feel like the levels of pain on the planet reflect back, and even the darkness that's on the planet reflect back some opposition of how much love is wanted. You know, because we are living in a dual universe, and the laws of duality of, like, if, you know, the opposite exists, the opposites exist. That opposites exist. So I am really speaking to an evolutionary aspect of, you know, anyone who's, you know, really working on themselves and wanting to heal themselves and come into wholeness and completion. That's a completion of patterns that just are destructive and unhealthy, and coming into health and wholeness and really, really bringing yourself through into a new paradigm of love and of connectivity, and not disconnecting, and releasing those disconnection patterns. So that absolutely means releasing blame programs. That absolutely means releasing inferiority and superiority programs. That means releasing competition and coming into collaboration and love for one another. And it means releasing scarcity programs. And it doesn't mean it's like just, oh my gosh, it's all gone. It's just like getting these powerful ahas and pulls forward of what you need to do to stay in connection for yourself. So it's a really powerful time, and thank you for watching. And if you have any interest in checking out my website, it is www.starpoweralchemy.com. And this I will be changing. I'm in my own creative evolution as well, and this is just the beginning. So I'm looking forward to sharing more on, and I will be also sharing more on Jupiter and Sagittarius. And I appreciate, you know, comments and if you'd like to subscribe to my channel. So welcome, and thank you for listening, and much love.